Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Startup Business Basics webinar. My name is Claudio Carvajal, and I'm an economic development specialist at the City of Edmonton. Thank you all for joining us today. This session is designed to help entrepreneurs understand what's involved in starting a business, the supports available, and how both the City and Business Link can help you along the way. Before I start, I have a few housekeeping items. Please mute your microphones during the presentation, unless you have a really important question to ask during the presentation. I'm guessing most of your questions might be answered during the presentation, but if you try, please just try to keep it at the end, or if it's something kind of wait, feel free to send us interrupt us to give us a question, or we have the chat here. Also, you can type the questions there, and I'll be able to respond to them as soon as I can. I'm really happy to be co-presenting today with my colleagues from Business Link, Cindy Castro and David Beta. Cindy is a business strategist at Business Link, and David is a manager client services at Business Link. So a bit about, before I start, a bit about Business Friendly Edmonton. That's the team, I'm part of it here at the City of Edmonton. Our main goal is to make it easier for people to start, run, and grow a business in the city. We help entrepreneurs understanding things like permits, licenses, zoning inquiries, and other steps you might need to when starting out the business. We also work closely with partners like Business Link to connect business owners with funding, training, and other supports. You can also reach us anytime at businesssupport@edmonton.ca or visit our website edmonton.ca/supportbusiness for more resources after the session. Right now, I'm going to pass it to Cindy and David. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Claudio, and thank you to City of Edmonton for having both me and David presenting on behalf of Business Link. Before I begin, we'll just go through the land acknowledgement. Business Link acknowledges and respects that we are on traditional land, meeting grounds, territories, gathering places, and traveling routes of Treaty 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10, and the home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the lands of those who have come before us, reside here, now, and in the future. So some of the learning objectives from today will describe who Business Link is, the services and programs available to you, planning phase, so how to do research, writing a business plan, how financing works, what options are available to you, and the startup steps, how to register your business, and other important steps. So who is Business Link? We help Alberta small businesses start and succeed and grow their business. We are a nonprofit organization funded by both the Government of Canada and the Government of Alberta. We've been established since 1996, so quite a while now. We serve both new and established entrepreneurs with our team that reflects the rich diversity of business owners within Alberta. So what it is that we do, we provide free one-on-one business advice. We deliver programs that help entrepreneurs start and succeed and grow their business. We host a variety of webinars on different topics, and we host in-person events as well. We also share really useful, informative online resources, content, and free tools. So we do offer free business advice. All of our advice program services are completely free. We have personalized advice for small business owners at any stage of their business journey, whether they're new or established or growing. You're free to ask questions about starting or growing your business, and you can meet with a business strategist either online, over the phone or in person if you live in Calgary, Edmonton, or now Grand Prairie. So onto our programs, we have a variety of programs available right now. One being our business launch program. This one is ideal for any business that hasn't launched. You work one-on-one with any of our business strategists. This is ideal for entrepreneurs who want to start with a really strong foundation. The business launch program is split up into 3 meetings, ideally booked 2 weeks apart, about 30 to 45 minutes each session. Again, you can meet online, over the phone, or in person. First session focuses on idea development or idea validation. The second session focuses on financial essentials, and third session is where we complete a business model canvas that helps with your business planning. Another service we have is a market research service. So this is where you can access data and reports from a range of high quality sources. Does focus on secondary market research. This is great for either established businesses looking to grow and make more informed decisions. Also ideal for brand new businesses who are developing their idea and want to do more research. Another program is our digital marketing program. This one is ideal for established business owners. This is one of our newer programs launched in this year, actually, January 2025. This is where you meet one-on-one with any one of our digital strategists. Helps to enhance your online presence, help develop a really solid marketing plan. Ideal if you already have a registered business, a website, and you're already selling either your product or service. Next is our Peerpreneur sessions. This is a really great 4-week virtual networking program. We meet once a week for a duration of 4 weeks. This one is ideal for established business owners. You get to connect with other business owners throughout Alberta and discuss different topics, usually any challenges, what's working, what's not working, get to collaborate on solutions, gain insights, and it's a really great networking opportunity as well to get to meet other business owners in different industries. Next is our Cash Flow Canvas program. This is really great for mastering your small business finances. So it's another online program, provides you with a roadmap and tools to better plan your business's financial operations. The intake is twice a year. However, you can work with one of our business strategists year-round for one-on-one support regarding cash flow. Onto the resources available. So we have an online interactive business plan builder. This is a free online tool you can access through our website, businesslink.ca. Ideal for new business owners. What's really great about it is that each section has a description and example of what that part of the business plan should look and sound like. Sometimes it's a daunting task to come up with brand new information, or you have no template to go off of. Another great part about our interactive business plan builder is that you can use it completely online, save and pause your business plan. You can save it and export it when it's complete. We also have events available. So we have free weekly webinars available. If you're not able to make it, they're all recorded and posted to Business Link's YouTube page. So a lot of good information there. Hosted usually by industry experts. We also have a couple of in-person events. So one being our Newcomer Entrepreneur Forum. The other one coming up is our Small Business Week event. This year it's October 20th to the 24th in Calgary and in Edmonton. Additionally, you can talk to us, reach out to Business Link and ask about our events or presentation in your community. Also, we have a lot of resources and tools and templates available on our website, businesslink.ca. A lot of great startup guides, either small business startup guides, financial fundamentals guides, marketing plan templates, so a lot of great information there. We have blogs available as well, guides, success stories from our past clients. Businesslink.ca, the website, is a great way to connect with our team, so you can book with any one of our specialists or learn more about our services available. Additionally, we have a newsletter. So you can sign up for our newsletter and stay up to date with all of our upcoming programs, any new services, stay up to date with our webinars, read the latest business blogs. This is where you can read the success stories as well, and it is sent out every couple of weeks. So for sake of time, you can put your business idea in the chat, or you can keep it at the back of your mind as well and relate the content as we go along to your business idea. So on to the planning phase. So what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur can look like a lot of different roles. So what I used to think was an entrepreneur was someone that owned a physical building and had employees, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you're exclusively doing drop shipping, or you're a food truck vendor, self-employed, or an independent contractor, or selling jewelry from your house. So it can look like a lot of different roles. So a few questions that you can ask yourself before considering becoming an entrepreneur. You can do a self-assessment and ask yourself questions like, why are you starting the business? Does it come from a need or a passion? Do you have the personality for the type of business you're wanting to open? Are you willing to commit to long hours? I've seen a few business owners want to leave their 9-to-5, so they work fewer hours, when in reality you're working more hours than before, sometimes 24 hours a day. Do you have enough money to start your business and to sustain the business? Are you comfortable with risk? Sometimes you do need to pivot your business, one direction as opposed to another, which sometimes looks like failure. Also, do you have a support system? It's easier to start and grow a business with a really strong support system. Finding the right opportunity for a business as well. Does your business solve a problem? Does it solve that problem? There are ways to brainstorm potential solutions and business ideas as well. You can do early research, like exploring trends, the market size, the competition. Is there customer segments for that business idea? You can refine your concept, design your value proposition, so what makes your business stand out among competitors, and identify your ideal target market. So who is interested in your business or business idea? You can validate that there is enough value in your product and or service, and see if there's a sufficient market for it as well. And of course, find ways of making your brand unique in order to stand out among competitors. So you can also do market research. Market research is the process of gathering information relevant to your business's concept. So it does include researching your overall market, understanding your potential customers, exploring the industry, evaluating the competition, observing trends, etc. The first step would be asking yourself, why are you doing market research? Just a really general, broad question. And narrow in, what do you want to find out? How are you going to gather that information? Do the research and review the research, and sometimes it takes a couple of steps, and then apply the research. So two different types of market research. One is primary market research. This is gathering information firsthand. And secondary market research, which looks at existing information and resources already available. So data can look like two ways. One is qualitative. This is the description part of it. So answers how and why. And then there's quantitative data. So this is usually in forms of numbers and percentages, answers how much, how many, or how often. So how do you do both types of market research? So primary market research involves asking your customers directly what their preferences are, what their needs look like. You can also attend networking events and ask questions and do a bit of research that way. You can research social media as well. Online reviews are very helpful. Just be wary of where you're gathering the online reviews from. Some social media sites allow business owners to control what type of reviews are public. Google reviews are a little bit more verified that way. You can do surveys as well and make observations. How you would do secondary market research is gather information from databases, statistics, published materials, online resources, and is also a service that Business Link offers. Business model canvas, I like to look at this as a one-page business plan. Helps to see the connections between different parts of your business as a whole. Also, the business model canvas is something we create together during the third session of the business launch program. So really helpful tool. And writing a business plan. So business plan is a written document, typically 15 to 30 pages long, defines why you're starting the business, your goals, and covers all major aspects of your business, including marketing, operating, and financial planning. This is not only your roadmap. This is could be essential for any funders, investors. This is a good base to test your idea feasibility and acts as a really great foundational action plan. I'll pass it over to David to go over the next few sections. Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much, Cindy. And as you mentioned, yeah, writing a business plan is an important tool, well, for really any business owner to do. You had mentioned business model canvas, which is more like a one-page business plan, is useful sometimes as a precursor before writing a more formal business plan. And yeah, so what is a business plan? Lots of different reasons why you would want one. It's basically a roadmap for your vision for the business. If you're going to be looking for funding, you may need to present and pitch that to lenders. It's kind of an action plan for yourself and just kind of a way to hopefully test things before you actually get going. And as indicated, a business plan is a more formal document, usually in the range of about 15 to 30 pages. And really, you want to make sure that the plan covers all major aspects of running your business. So that includes everything from marketing to operations and then financials as well. And really, at the end of the day, it's to help ensure you've done your research and you're going to help. It will help you to make better informed and strategic business decisions to hopefully help you make a profitable business venture. So what would be some of the main sections involved in a business plan? This is typically what you might see for the table of contents. This is just a really quick breakdown of it. You have your executive summary, business description about the business. Your executive summary is kind of like if you were to summarize your business plan in 1 to 2 pages. Your market research, we talked a bit about that, and your marketing and sales strategy would be how you promote your business. Management and the team, so who's going to be involved in running the business. Your operations deal a bit more with like the workflow. And lastly, your financials would be things like your cash flow, your income statement, your balance sheet. And of course, appendix for any additional reference items as well. So how can you go about actually writing a business plan? There's lots of great ways to get started. You could definitely find some sample business plans and templates online. just doing a quick Google search. So see what you can find, anything that might be related to the type of business you're looking to operate. Explore online resources as well. There's lots of guides, videos on YouTube, webinars, and workshops that you can participate in. And I think at the end of the day, it's just a matter of just getting started, right? Whether you're going to be writing it digitally or using a pen and paper, I think you just have to start getting your ideas and concepts really down. Definitely look at getting feedback along the way and input from maybe trusted family members, friends, anyone who maybe has a bit of a business background or experience, to see if they can maybe provide some feedback for you. That's always helpful. Just some new perspectives, new ideas. And just be mindful about using AI. So AI can be useful. Just be cautious about getting it to create a business plan for you in 30 seconds. What you might get would be fairly generic in nature. It wouldn't really be as specific to your business. So rather than maybe using AI to create your business plan, maybe you could use it for various parts and sections of your business plan after you kind of already start getting it together yourself. So just be very cautious again of using AI. Definitely use it as a tool, but maybe use it to enhance the plan rather than create the plan. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. So yeah, that's our section on business planning. Next, we're going to jump into the financing realm, because if you are starting a business, financing is really important. So there's perhaps 4 big questions you really want to think about when you're getting your business going. Really, you want to think about what would be the largest business expenses that your business would incur. Quite often for a lot of businesses, it might be the lease or staffing costs. But depending on the nature of the business, it could also be equipment or inventory or even marketing. So that's kind of the big first question, is what would be some of those business expenses you might incur. Next, you want to really think about what is the total amount needed to start. So if you were to add up all of those expenses, what would the dollar amount be? Next, third question is, how much money will you be investing personally into the business? So basically, how much money do you have saved up to invest? And lastly, the fourth question, if you don't have enough money yourself, where will the remaining money come from? So those are, again, are 4 really good questions to kind of pose to yourself at the early stages of your business. Because if you don't have enough money, that may actually alter the type of business you might be starting. So yeah, those are some really good questions to be thinking about. So where are your financing options going to come from? So there's typically about 5 different ways you might finance your business. The first being debt financing. So this is money received that must be returned with interest. So debt financing would typically be like a bank loan, where you borrow X amount of dollars and you, of course, are going to repay it, and there might be interest attached to it. Second, we have equity. So this is money in exchange for a portion of the company or the business. And when you maybe think of equity, you can maybe think of it in terms of like Dragon's Den, where the dragons take a certain percentage of ownership of a business, right? Again, this gets into issuing shares. Third, we also have specialized financing types. So there could be various programs available for certain demographics or communities within Alberta. I'll cover some of what those might be in later slides. Next, there could be grants and subsidies. These could come from a federal level, a provincial level, or a municipal level. Usually you need to meet fairly specific criteria for a lot of the grants and subsidies, so kind of keep that in mind. And then lastly, we have alternative sources. So there could be creative options like crowdfunding that you could also explore to get financing for your business. So how are you going to fund your business? Really, the most common way that individuals get financing to start their business is actually through personal financing. So that's typically the top. The top one is personal financing, so kind of funding the business yourself. Next, we would have bank loans. So getting like a bank loan to get your business going, that would be the second most popular type. And then third being finding business partners, perhaps family or friends to help get involved in the business with you. So when it comes to debt financing, again, this is typically like taking out a bank loan. There are various, or there's 5 C's of lending. You may have heard these before. We don't have time to go through them today, but just be aware they're capacity, capital, conditions, collateral, and character. If you just do a quick search, you'll be able to learn more about what those would be. And these are kind of the 5 main criteria that someone like a bank institution or lender would be looking at to kind of evaluate your lending capability. So kind of, yeah, keep those 5 C's in mind. So again, when you're financing your business, we talked a bit about using your personal money to invest into your business. This could come from your savings, RRSPs, maybe a personal line of credit, credit cards. You might be able to generate some extra income for yourself. You might be able to try to save money by cutting expenses with at your household. So again, that personal money is a big factor. Next, there's other financing. We talked a bit about kind of bank loans. We talked a bit about kind of specialized financing as well. There's other financing groups out there like Alberta Women Entrepreneurs, for example, which caters to women business owners. There's Futurepreneur if you're youth 18 to 39 years of age. If you're kind of in rural Alberta, there's Community Futures offices. So again, depending what you're looking for, there are specialized financing programs. And again, grant options could be a little bit more limited. They're, again, tough to come by. You have to meet fairly specific criteria. So that's something to keep in mind. I see we have a quick question here relating to RRSPs for starting a business. Unfortunately, I don't have that tax and accounting background. I do know it is possible, but you might take quite the tax hit when it comes to taking out RRSPs. Definitely chat with your accountant about that and or your bank as well to kind of learn about what some of those impacts might be on there. And if there could maybe be a way around it, or maybe you can invest those funds in a corporation, again, that would be a conversation with your accountant. But yeah, great question. Thanks for that. Okay. And then, so yeah, after you've thought about kind of maybe some of the financing considerations, you may actually want to start the business. So this next section is going to explore what some of those big criteria are as it relates to getting started. We have those identified as about 6 steps you may want to take. There might be more, but this will at least help you to kind of get going. So we'll kind of work through these, again, step by step, and hopefully you can grasp some of the concepts involved with this. So really your first step at the end of the day is choosing a business structure. And your business structure really refers to how your business is set up, how you're going to operate it and conduct business. And now your business structure is actually going to get you thinking about like what your liabilities will be, how you're going to get paid, how you're going to be taxed. So it is a big decision that you do need to make at the beginning of starting your business. You may want to speak to a lawyer and or your accountant to learn about, again, what some of those liabilities and risks might be, and then what might be best from a tax savings perspective. And again, the accountant would be able to help you with that. So there's a number of different business structures that you as a business owner can choose when you're getting going. The most common ones I would say would be a sole proprietor or a corporation. And a sole proprietor is basically one individual operating the business themselves. whereas a corporation is a completely separate legal entity. We also have partnership, which is two or more people agreeing to carry on business together. And then we also have things like societies, nonprofits, cooperative, social enterprise. We won't have time to go through those today, but kind of know those exist. Definitely reach out to us at Business Link, and we can chat with you more about what those are and if they could be a potential option for your own business. So again, we'll just quickly go through what those main business structure types are. So the first one you might encounter is a sole proprietor. As I mentioned, it is, again, just one person agreeing to enter into business. The business is basically themselves. They are the business and the business is them. So it is only just one person. The big advantage is it's very easy to form and very inexpensive. So simple to set up, easy to operate, less expensive. You basically, as the business owner, get to make all the decisions. You get all of the profits. So the accounting requirements are quite a bit easier. But there are a few drawbacks. The first being unlimited liability, which basically means should anything happen, it would come back to you yourself as the business owner. So your personal assets could be potentially be at risk as a sole proprietor. So that's something to be aware of. Lack of continuity. Again, no business partners. It's just one person. Potentially difficulty in raising capital because you don't have shares, and not really much name protection with it. So partnership. So again, partnership is two or more people agreeing to enter into business together. Again, the big advantage here is it's very easy to set up and also very inexpensive. The other perks are you get to share resources with other people, pooling your resources together with your partners. So there's shared decision making and profit and risk with that. And again, easier accounting requirements. But the big drawbacks, again, would be unlimited liability. So what that means is should anything happen, all partners under that partnership could be legally liable. So that's really something you want to consider when it comes to partnerships. Again, liability of partners' actions. What one partner does could impact you through the business. There's obviously a potential for conflict if you don't get along with your business partners, maybe some challenges in making decisions. And again, lack of continuity and no name protection. So I see we have a quick question here, briefly, what is name protection? So name protection deals with having the kind of the rights to a name. The highest form of name protection that you can get in Canada is through a trademark. That's handled actually through a separate governing body called the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. I briefly mentioned that there's, just no name protection with it. Sometimes you can get a degree of name protection simply by using the name in the marketplace through common law. But again, that's very informal. When we get to a corporation, you get a small degree of name protection with the corporation because you have to have a unique corporation name. So when we say no name protection, that's kind of what we relate to that. You don't have a formal trademark assigned through like through sole proprietorship or partnership with a corporation. Again, you have a degree of name protection by virtue of the fact that you have to have a unique corporation name. But again, the highest form of name protection would be getting a trademark. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question there. And then lastly, we have a corporation. And the biggest advantage of a corporation is you have limited liability. What that basically means is should anything happen under the course of the operating the corporation, it would in theory be limited to the assets held within that corporation. And again, a corporation is a completely separate legal entity from yourself, and ownership is actually transferable and it can have continuous existence. In some cases, it could be easier to raise capital again because you can issue shares. In some situations, or typically it's seen as being more professional out in the marketplace, and there could potentially be tax advantages with it. Having said that, there are some, again, disadvantages with having a corporation. It is much more expensive to set up, a lot more record keeping involved and paperwork. It is much more closely regulated, and potentially there could be double taxation involved. I usually like to say that a corporation is probably perhaps 10 to 20 times more complicated and costly versus having something like a sole proprietorship. But again, there's lots of reasons why you may or may not want one or the other. Happy to share some of those reasons with you through our work here at Business Link. But again, some people would prefer to chat with their accountant or lawyer to learn about what option would work best for them as well. So yeah, we've covered kind of what the main options would be for setting your business up. Next, we want to explore how would you actually go about registering either the business name or the entity. For a sole proprietor, it is very simple to register a trade name. You would complete the declaration of trade name form, which can be found at a registry office. Usually cost is around $100. Like I mentioned, trade names don't have formal name protection. You can do what's called a nuance report search, which is optional. And that just basically searches all trade names, trademarks, partnership names, and corporation names right across Canada, giving you a bit of an FYI of what other names would be out there. And hopefully you would ideally want to avoid anything similar to what's already out there in the marketplace. You can also operate using your own personal name, and you wouldn't have to register a trade name for that. Next, we have partnership. So for a partnership, you have to fill out what's called declaration of partnership at a registry office. Again, the cost is about $100 or so. I mentioned not really much name protection with it. You can do the nuance report, and it's usually recommended to have a partnership agreement in place, which basically outlines how that partnership will operate with the parties involved. So how will decisions be made? If one of you wants out of the partnership, what will happen? All of those details would go into the partnership agreement. And lastly, we have corporation. So again, corporation, I mentioned, it is a separate legal entity, and it's identified by using, at the end of the name, LTD, Inc., or Corp. And you can, if you decide to incorporate, you can choose which of those you would prefer. You can also look at incorporating either provincially or federally. So that's something to keep in mind. You can look at incorporating yourself. There are, for example, do-it-yourself incorporation kits available at many of the registries. There's also some online providers that you can find. Or the traditional route is just going through a law firm. A lawyer can help ensure that you're doing everything correctly. They can help you to manage your corporation for you and things like your minute book. Those would be a few of your options. Now, when you incorporate, you'll need to complete a nuance report. Again, that's to kind of search what other names are out there. And then you have to fill out 3 forms. They are called your articles of incorporation, your notice of address, and the notice of directors. And the cost basically would start around maybe $500 or $600 and could go up to $1,500 plus if you decide to go through a lawyer. So there's just some quick additional requirements when running a corporation. You'll need to make sure you file your annual return every year. You'll need to maintain something called a minute book, which basically has your bylaws, your meeting minutes, your subscription for shares, perhaps a unanimous shareholder agreement as well. You'll want to be working with an accountant and or lawyer. And when you're doing anything a bit more complex, like doing holding companies or divisions, you definitely want to look at seeking out professional advice in those situations. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we'll jump to step number 3, which we'll talk a bit about licensing, permits, and regulatory considerations. So my first big piece of advice is really to take the time to research and understand what some of the government regulations would be and how they might apply to your business. And these are set by various levels of government, whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal. And that's to help protect the public, employees, the environment, and business owners. So kind of keep that in mind. There is a website called BizPal, bizpal.ca, that can help you a little bit with some of those searches that you might be doing relating to licensing. So first and foremost, municipal regulations. Here in the city of Edmonton, there's things like land use and zoning, building permits, which relates to safety codes, and then lastly, your business license. So again, depending on what municipality you're operating in, you talk to your local city or a town to figure out what some of those would be. Next, we have provincial regulations. So some areas that are provincially regulated would include things like food-related businesses. You might need your food handling permit from Alberta Health Services, for example. Anything relating to alcohol and cannabis sales, of course. There's occupational health and safety regulations that you might need to abide by, especially if you have employees. There's various consumer protections as well. And then, of course, industry-specific licensing for trades, transportation, consumer services, things like that. And lastly, there are also some federal regulations. Areas could be for example, businesses that do products for mass consumption, financial services, travel and transportation, perhaps hazardous waste. An example of enforcement agencies would be like Health Canada, Canada Border Services Agency if you're importing or exporting, Canada Food Inspection Agency if you're dealing with maybe a more complex food product. So again, there could be federal regulations you might need to abide by. Again, talk with people, do your research, and put a plan together as to what some of the licensing and regulations might be for your business. So step 4, getting a business number. A business number is much like how you have a social insurance number. A business number is a unique 9-digit number that is used for your business. And now if you've registered your business, for example, at a registry office, you may have been automatically issued one via email. If you weren't, you may need to contact Canada Revenue Agency directly to get one. And yeah, you may want to look at registering for My Business account with CRA just to make services a lot more easier with that. And we'll get into a few reasons why you would need and use a business number. So these are 4 of the different types of accounts that you can assign and attach to a business number. They would be, for example, if you're going to be collecting GST and HST, if you're making over $30,000 for the year, for example, you might need that. If you're doing payroll deductions, so if you have employees, you might need to do that. Corporate income tax, if you're incorporated, your corporation will have to pay tax. If you're importing and exporting, that would be another requirement, or there could be other reasons as well. But again, this is just a quick overview, again, about what a business number is and what some of those accounts might be. Okay, step 5, we'll talk briefly about taxation. So I had mentioned earlier that like sole proprietor and partnership is fairly simple. Any income and revenue and profit that you earn, you would claim that on your personal tax return. And if you're doing GST, that would also be applicable there. Whereas again, your personal tax return would be like your T1. Whereas a corporation first and foremost will pay corporate income tax. So a corporation has to file a T2 corporate tax return. After the corporation pays tax on its profit, next, if you want to take money out of the corporation, you can do that a number of different ways. You would work with your accountant to figure out what the best option would be for you. But typically it might be, you might have yourself on payroll. So that's one option. Or you could issue yourself a bonus or a dividend at the end of the year. Different tax effects will happen to those. Again, you're best to work with your accountant to see what's going to be most tax advantageous for you. Okay, and lastly, we have step number 6, other considerations. Really, you want to take the time to really consider some of the following. You may want to look at getting business insurance to protect you should something happen. Maybe a customer slips and falls in your establishment. There could be insurance for that. Maybe your client list, there's a cyber attack and it gets stolen. Again, there could be business insurance that you get for that. So kind of keep that in mind, do your research, do some shopping around to see what type of business insurance you would like. You may need a separate business account or separate bank account through your bank. So again, chat with your bank about setting that up. Bookkeeping, so it's important to keep receipts and invoices. So what will be the best system for keeping track of those things? There's a lot of great apps out there that make it really seamless and easy now. Next, marketing. How are you going to promote and get word out about your business? Will you have a website? Will you do social media? Really think about your marketing plan. And then any written agreements that you might have. Maybe it's a lease agreement, maybe it's an employee contract. Kind of keep that in mind if you're going to need the services of, let's say, a lawyer to review those for you. And lastly, look at building a team, right? A team could be very informal. It could be some trusted friends or family who help you out. Or you could also look at putting together a team, which might be a mentor, might be your accountant, and might be a lawyer. So really look at getting support, building your network around your business. And yeah, lastly, I want to provide our website, businesslink.ca, and our toll-free number. Should anyone have any additional questions, we're happy to help. We have a great team of business strategists here at Business Link who are, again, able to provide free services for helping you getting started. And be sure to sign up for our e-newsletter if you haven't, and subscribe to our social media channels. And yeah, that's it for the content of our presentation. And we do have some time for any questions from any participants if they have any questions relating to some of the content.